Thierry Henry said it best this week. It's not about what happens to you. It's all about how you respond. And Arsenal proved that they are the comeback kings. This is another episode of One Kick from Glory. I'm joined, as always, by the boys. I've got Matthew with me.
Yep.
We've got Craig with me.
Yep.
And Markus is here with us as well. We are going to have some fun today. And I want to start off by talking about the game at Villa Park between Arsenal and Aston Villa. There was a lot riding on that match, a lot of emotion, a lot of passion. The former manager, who we all know the nickname that he was given, I won't repeat it because, you know, his nickname, but he was hoping for a great result. Didn't quite work out for him. I want to start off with you, Craig, looking back on that game. How did you view the match?
We're losing the game. We came back. They scored again, make it 2-1. It was 2-1 in the second half, late in the second half, and then Arsenal changed the corner technique, and then Shevchenko scored the equaliser. And then the ball came, then they brought on Martinelli. Martinelli got the ball, played the ball across, and then he played to Jorginho. Jorginho hit it. That was a cracking shot. Hit the back of the head of Martinez, our former keeper, 3-2. And then Martinez stupidly went up the other end and tried to score from a corner. Unlikely he was going to score. Left it open. Vieira ran out the box, played the ball to Martinelli, and we won the game 4-2. So it was an up and down game. But one thing I liked about the players was they had the courage, the fight, and the determination to say we're not going to lose back-to-back games, and we came back and won the game. So that's good. That's good team spirit. As good tactics from Arteta for making the change at the right time to get us to win that game. Another season would have lost that game.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point about the changes made. I think you're right in saying that in different seasons gone by, that comeback wouldn't necessarily have happened. I guess for you, Matthew, looking at how that game played out from a neutral, what would you say was something that you really enjoyed from the match?
It was a fun game, but it's kind of funny watching like Emi Martinez. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the guy, but it's funny to see him making a bit of a prat of himself after that whole fiasco. Like all that bravado from the World Cup final, I don't know where it went. Maybe it got to his head. I don't know, but mate, it got to be. But take no credit away from you guys. You still had to get the 4 goals the way that you did. So, like that shows good character and like determination. A bit like how it happened with Man United, where they scored, but you say, you know what, it's fine. We got this. We got Plan B. We'll come back again. We'll find a way. He made the subs the right way. I'm starting to like see the bit more of a character in Arteta a little bit, especially with the playing games referee, like doing all that sort of thing. I'm like, cool. This wasn't necessarily what I've seen with you before. Not that I'm watching you all the time, but I like the way that you're getting a bit more of like an attitude and a personality, and realizing that, you know, this is still all to play for. You know, you've still got that game in hand ahead of Man City. So like, credit where credit is due. Where's Jorginho scoring goals like this? Where is Jorginho? 5 years he was dealing with us. 5 years, not one. Panenka out of literally, someone correct me if he scored a goal that wasn't a penalty. But where is he doing that for you guys, man? What do we do that was so wrong, George? Hey, what do we do? No, anyway, but
many things.
Hey, well, he's a two-way string, mate. It takes 2 to tango. That's what I'm saying. 2, but no, yeah. Great subs, like good game, good comeback. So you're back in the driving seat firmly. What a difference a week can make. So you're firmly in your court. So yeah, all go steaming ahead. Coming up to March, maybe the next games we're going to be playing around in that March time. It's getting that much closer to the end of the season. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm glad that you said what a difference a week could make. That really does apply for a conversation we're going to have later on in the podcast, where I had a great perspective that I'm going to share on, and it just got dashed away by some inexplicably poor performances, but we're going to get into all of that a little bit later on. I guess for you, Markus, looking at that match in particular, who would you say was the key player that really sort of turned things around for Arsenal?
Look, I think one of the things that has to be said, and you have to give credit where credit's due, is to Saka. I think Saka stepped up when things seem to matter in big games this season, and not just this game gone, but in games past. I think Saka has really stepped up when he needs to, and a player that I've been very, very impressed with this season. I think he's going to that next level.
Yeah, he's definitely taken it on his back to be that guy. I mean, Thierry Henry challenged him pre-game to say, like, if you if you want to be the main man, the main guys aren't nice. You have to show that you're the main guy. And I love that after we scored that exceptional volley. Like, I feel like that Robin-like comparison, or that kind of title that I've given him, it's becoming more and more proven as the season goes on. Like, I love the goal he scored. I love that he emulated Thierry Henry's celebration. That's Saka and Balogun that have both had a little chat with Thierry or gotten some feedback through the press from Thierry, and as a result, they've scored a goal and celebrated it in honour of the great man. And I like the fact that, the words coming out from around, Arsenal, from the legends of old, players that a lot of us as fans look up to. I'm certain a lot of these players look up to. It's like everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet now. And even Henry came out and clarified his whole thoughts about the whole Daniel Ek takeover and stuff, and saying it's not so much that he wanted the Kroenkes out for being out's sake. It's more a case of there was a problem, Daniel Ek had a solution, and he backed the solution. It hasn't worked out. The Kroenkes didn't sell, and in fact, the Kroenkes have now put their money where their mouth is. So now he's backing what the club's doing, and to be honest with you, you can't argue with that. He had an idea, saw an opportunity, didn't work out, but he's not anti-Kroenke, he's not anti-Arteta. He just wants Arsenal to be the best it can be, and so sometimes his comments have felt like he's against the manager or the club, but actually it's just he's got, as a fan, we have our club's best feelings in mind, best intentions in mind. I guess for you, Craig, just like as a final thing on this game, well, not almost a final thing, we'll talk about one other thing as well, but looking at this result as a whole, do you feel like this is now the result that's going to instill in the players a belief that they can actually go all the way?
Yeah. If we had lost that game on Saturday, I don't think we would have won the league. I think it would have been awesome.
Well, it's not over yet. We haven't won it yet.
I mean that we wouldn't feel like we're in a title race, or we'd have felt maybe end of the season we'll look back to this game and say this may be the game that will maybe got us on the final to get to where we need to get to. There's still a lot of games left to play. Still got a lot of big teams to play as well. So, but this is a game that last season would have lost, season before that would have lost. So it goes to show that with a bit of hard work, determination, and not giving up, and believing in your players, and a good team spirit that Arteta's have with the squad, that we fought and we got the win. So for now, we have to do that every game now to be consistent. I know we're conceding a lot of goals recently, and that's a bit of an issue, but if we can score more goals than we concede, then we win more matches than we lose. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Definitely getting the goal scoring bit going. The last thing I want to talk about, I'm glad that you mentioned him, Marcus, and that's Bukayo Saka. And like I said, aka Mr. Robin Light, there's been a lot of talk about, and I've seen it myself throughout the season, just how many tackles and fouls the guy, I mean, he gets kicked a lot. To the extent now where I'm actually getting annoyed for him. And the referees aren't really seeming to do much about it. Now, I don't know if that's some kind of inherent bias they might have. I don't know if it's they just don't care, or they feel like, you should be able to tough it up. But for you, Matthew, when you think about like Hazard, for example, and the amount of kicks he got and the injuries he got as a result, and obviously looking at how he is now, how his career is all over the place, do you feel like the referees need to have more care about a player, especially a player that is going to be one of the core pillars for the national team for the next decade?
I mean, they got to look at these players. Like, they're not all the same. Like, not all of them are able to take the kicks, the bumps, the shoves, as well as some other players. Like, the likes of Hazard, the like of Zaha, the like of Grealish. Now you got ones like Saka, like absolute trouble magnates. They attract the sort of thing where, because they know they're the main guy. Whereas like, if you take this guy, we take out the team, essentially, sort of thing. But thinking in the bigger picture, yes, you do got, and he is like a pivotal part of that national team now. He was good in the World Cup, and obviously had the fiasco with the Euros, stuff like that. But at the age that he is, you want to try and protect him as best as you can. He's still got so much to prove in his future. He's barely reached his peak. He's nowhere near his peak. So we're only understanding he's going to get better. There's a responsibility out there for a lot of the players, especially where England have been recently. I know we got knocked out of the quarterfinals, but we've been to 2 semis and we've been to a final. So we're led to believe that somewhere along the point, in the next 5-6 years, we're going to go all the way in one of these international tournaments. He's going to be part of it. And you don't want to be one of those players, one of those referees or officials that looks back and feel like that foul was a bit meaty. Look what happened in the World Cup in France. It was him taken out for their goal. prime example. Any other day, and I remember being with my other friends at the time, going ballistic at the foul. Blatant foul. Like you said, go back, look at Hazard right now. One of the reasons where he never truly achieved that international greatness was possibly down to the amount of injuries. It got worse when he was older. When he got older, he peaked at Chelsea, but he always thought that there was something else that he could have given had he been looked after just a little bit more. I'm not saying he's a failure, but you always know that something else was there. We don't want that with Saka because, like I said, he's only getting better. So football, Premier League rivalry aside, you want to make sure that these players, especially these kind of intricate, tricky players, that they're taking, because they make the football exciting, and that's what we're moving towards.
That's true.
That's the future of football. Small, young, close gravity, exciting players, man. That's where it's going to be. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think just my last point on Arsenal players, and then we'll move on to a club that we have a lot to talk about. Eddie Nketiah, and I wanna throw this to both Craig and Marcus. I'll start with Craig first. So, are you a little bit concerned with how Eddie's performing the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think he's tired. I think he needs a rest now. So the quicker Jesus can get fit, the quicker he gets back into the team, to give him a little breather. We've got a lot of games to play. We've got Europa League to come back. That's going to be a lot of games. Thursday, Sunday. So we've got that fixtures to contend with soon. Then we've got and then we only got him as the only main striker. Balogun's out on loan. Jesus is injured. Maybe you could play Martinelli through the middle. Maybe you could play Trossard through the middle and give him a rest. But I feel that right now you don't want to burn him out. He's played a lot of games since the World Cup. He's played a lot of games. So hopefully he can. Hopefully Jesus can be fit soon, maybe by next month or so he can rotate both of them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important. I guess on that note, Marcus, obviously in the game against Aston Villa, Eddie missed. Well, he made one great bit of play, but Ødegaard missed an absolute sitter. I don't know how the captain missed it. He's been so good this season, and he's put away those chances so well. But he has a habit with his side foot finishes where he pulls them. It's not the first time he's done it this season. It's not the first time he's done it at Arsenal. He needs to really work on it. But for you with Nketiah, obviously he missed he was unlucky with the header where he just hit the top of the crossbar from the great cross from Ben White on the overlap. And then he had the one-on-one where his second touch was too heavy after getting played through. I forget who played the through ball through to. I think it was Ødegaard played him in. But anyway, his second touch was too heavy. He tried to chip the goalkeeper and put it over the bar. Just looking at, in terms of a comparison with Nunez, who's had his kind of teething problems with finishing, do you look at what Nketiah is doing at Liverpool Marcus, and feel like there's enough encouragement in the work he's doing in terms of the chances he's getting and just being unlucky? Or do you feel like because he doesn't do a lot outside of the box, he needs to be doing a lot better in those situations?
No, I think since the World Cup, his contribution has been, pretty good. He got 6 goals since the World Cup started, and for a guy since the World Cup finished, and for a guy that's not your number one centre forward, I think that's pretty solid. I don't think you can ask for much more than that. And last couple of games he's been poor because I brought him into my fantasy team, so shame on me.
Sorry about that.
But outside of that, I think, when all things are considered, yeah, he's had a little dry spell over the last 2 or 3 games, but, you've got a double game week coming up this week, this next period, 2 games, and, I'm sure he'll play one of the 2, maybe even potentially start both of them. And, he just needs another goal again. But I'm actually quite impressed with what he's done. I never look at him and think he's going to be, Arsenal's number one striker at really any stage when Arsenal are competing for, a league title and next year Champions League. So I don't imagine he'll ever be, number one, but he contributes. Like I said, he's Arsenal's Divock Origi.
That is actually
that
great.
is so true.
That's a great
so
title.
true.
Nketiah, Arsenal's Divock Origi. That might be a title for a clip.
That's not a bad thing.
It's a great thing. We're gonna move over to your dearly beloved Marcus, Liverpool, and
yay.
So let's start off with the Premier League. We'll get on to what happened in the Champions League a little bit later on, but I really was quite pleased with what I saw from Liverpool in the first half.
Yeah.
And I really felt like this was the start of the bounce back. And we've been in the Craig, you said it yourself. You felt like Liverpool are primed to go on a long run. They're gonna just start hoovering down points and just climb up the table because they're not that far off. They're in 8th, but they're not that far away. And like, but then with the rest of the second half, it was a bit shaky. But I want to start with you, Markus, on this, on more the positive sign of things. And were you quite pleased with how well Salah, Núñez, and Gakpo are starting to now click together as a front three?
No, I'm pleased with 2 of the 3. I think I can't go all the way. I think Núñez looks bright and has always looked bright. And one of my work colleagues today made a great point about Núñez. They said if he doesn't have to use his brain, he's one of the best strikers in world football. And
That's a bit harsh.
when he has to use his brain, he's useless. And it does seem to be the case that on instinct, Núñez is very, very good. You look at you saw the ball came over the top to him in the Newcastle game there. He took it down, he got it down well, and he just powered it past the goalkeeper. But if he'd have had no defenders on him and he would have had, lots of time, I've seen Núñez put that wide more than I've seen him score. And I think that's the thing with Núñez. But I'm encouraged by Núñez. I think Núñez has all that he needs to become one of the top strikers. If he can get that finishing consistent. Gakpo, I'm pleased with. He's slowly settled. And once the goals have started to come, he started to find himself a little bit. I think Klopp prefers him in a position that he doesn't prefer to play. So he prefers him dropping deep in that kind of, Bobby Firmino number 10 kind of role. And I don't think he necessarily likes that role as much as he would prefer to come in off the left. But Klopp seems to, at the moment, like Núñez coming in off the left. So it's interesting. Them two, I think, are coming together quite nicely and well. Salah, I just don't think looks like he wants to play football at the moment, and I'm getting more and more frustrated with him as time goes along. I know he scored last night, and I just think in general for the standards that I expect of someone like Salah, he is an absolute confidence player, and when he's confident and everything's flowing, he's magical. But when he's not and when he's off, I feel like at times he almost goes missing, and I felt that too much this season with Salah. So yeah, that's how I feel about the front three.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a weird one with them. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Núñez and how he's kind of, I guess, finding his flow. I mean, for you, Craig, looking at Darwin as a striker, I mean, I know there's been lots of comparisons between, Darwin Núñez and Haaland, and he's a success, he's a flop. But I think we can safely say, my work colleague Mo said this as well, that like with Núñez, he always has a slow first season in all of his new clubs. Second season, he kicks on and then kind of gets the numbers. Do you think now there's enough evidence where you can say that Núñez is not quote unquote a flop?
There's a player in Núñez, like the goal he scored last week against Newcastle, control, bang, straight away, pub on his backside, literally. He's got the ability. I feel like you guys just need to play to his strengths, have more confidence in him, and I think he'll score more. Next season he'll score a lot of goals. Between now and the end of the season, if Liverpool want to get top 4, it's between him, Salah, and Gakpo to score the goals, because the other players who are coming back from injuries, I don't know how they're going to get back into form, like Jota, Firmino, and Diaz. So them 3 have got the shirts now, are starting 11. So if they want to keep them players in the team and get them up the top 4, they have to start scoring more goals, winning more matches. Because where Liverpool in the table is a dire position, like for where they were last season, from last kick of the season, challenging to win the league on the last game of the season to where they are now, it's diabolical. Like it's like, what happened? I know people say they sold Mane, but Mane is only one player. Mane was a big impact at Liverpool, to be fair and to be honest. But one player can't make you go bad overnight. It can't be. There must be more issues, or must be more situations why they're not doing well this season. I don't know what it is. Markus might know more than me. I've been a Liverpool fan, but being a neutral watching it, I feel that, I don't know, it's like you got a player like Van Dijk struggling this season, Gomez struggling this season, Matip struggling this season. Who else? Who's that of that? Their centre back. Other centre back. Is it
Gomez,
Go. No,
Matip, Van Dijk,
not the other one. The French one.
Canate.
Kanate struggling this
Been
season.
injured.
And it's not like he was last season. Him and Van Dijk was solid last season.
True.
So
So solid.
goes to show.
Yeah, I mean it's a good point about what's going on there. I was thinking about Liverpool today. I don't think about Liverpool often. Don't worry, people listening, Arsenal fans. It's just I've been in a very nostalgic mood this week. But I came up with this. I had this thought. So life and football have many parallels. Only a few make it to the very top and achieve glory. However, joyous moments can be experienced by all. Younger fans are often very fickle and reactionary. However, with age and experience comes a different perspective. Now, I say all of this to say, are Liverpool's problems this season just a reflection of the natural ebb and flow of a team's life cycle, or is it indicative of greater problems? I want to land that with you, Matthew, first, and then I want to give you the floor, Marcus, to kind of go into it some more, because last night we saw haram football. Anyone out there who is Muslim, haram football from Liverpool in their defensive third. Haram football. It was disgusting. Over to you.
So is epidemic of bigger problems? Well, you got that big sale going on, which you confirmed that you're not for sale. There was that. Jurgen Klopp is almost looking like he's losing a little bit of control in that of. I know it's not the same Klopp that we've known for the past few years, the same kind of the dynamism, the energy, the effervescentness, his eccentricness. He's looking like he doesn't know where the next kind of result or performance is going from. I think what Marcus says is correct about Salah being a confidence player and seeing as the kind of impact he has maybe affecting the rest of the team. So if Salah's not confident, the rest of the players aren't confident. I don't know, but since Klopp, you've enjoyed a great bit of success. Trophies coming in, competing at really high levels, competing on all 4 points towards the end of last year. Like you just said, how it's a natural ebb and flow of highs to lows. It could be, and take it from someone who knows with my club at the moment right now, there could be a little bit more difficulty coming along the way. We may see. This could be your last Champions League night for a while. Believe me, it's not something I'm looking forward to. Plus, of all the other things we've got looking ahead. So, I think especially with you guys, how it's been. Only 20 years without a title, for crying out loud. And Man United going through their lack of a title for the past 10 years. I think it happens to every club, but it's a test to the fans out there like us who, we're not the oldest of fans, but we've been around long enough to know how different football has changed from when we first started supporting. You're at a different stadium. We've had how many countless managers and owners, but we're still sticking around for the main part, which is the game itself. So you will spot. I'll never stop supporting Chelsea no matter how much they try and break my heart. I'm stronger than that. Same way you're not going to leave your clubs, and Marcus respectively. It's exactly it. I'm not wearing it today because it's in the wash, but but yeah, it shows who are down for the sweat, for the struggle. I mean, a lot of people come to me as a Chelsea. And I make this point all the time. I was here before Roman. I was here when we had that nutter Ken Bates. I was here when I was there when Chelsea had a bit of sex appeal about him. LeBoeuf, Desailly, LeBlanc, Wise, Hasselbank. Good Johnson, we're Euro chic a little bit, you know what I mean? Bum down for the struggle, but yeah, I think there's darker days coming by. You're clearly on the up, and in a natural way, other teams are on the down. So yeah, I can understand that completely.
Yeah, I mean, just before I hand it to you, Marcus, let's talk about the Champions League last night. As Matthew said, it might be a little while before Liverpool there again, but you never know. This is Liverpool. It would not surprise me if you beat Real Madrid 4-0 at Bernabeu. It wouldn't surprise me. I would not be shocked. I'd be shocked Real Madrid not scoring, but I wouldn't be shocked Liverpool scoring 4 goals because you just are that kind of a team. However, big Champions League night. What's really interesting is that there's footage that came on Twitter today or yesterday, are Liverpool fans, very creative fans. Your fan base are the best, really. At 2 a.m. in the morning, Wednesday morning or Tuesday morning, you set off fireworks outside the Real Madrid players' hotel room just to give them extra motivation, so they knew that they were in for a proper treat. And not only did you set off fireworks outside the hotel, you had fireworks on the pitch. You went 1-0 up, great bit of play, brilliant goal. And then Thibaut Courtois had a moment. Miscontrol. And he just gave the ball to Salah. And Salah was just like, thank you, sir. That's me done for the night. That's my goal done. I'm happy. Oh, his second goal. But and then after that, Alisson with just you know what? People make mistakes. But when you watch it back, he's too casual. He thinks he's got too much time. And he just passes it against Vinicius. And it's the one player who you don't want to kick the ball against. Ceballos, it might not go in. Rodrigo, it might not go in. Like even Benzema, it might not go in. But Vinicius, the form he's in, and all the other backdrop behind him, and the way he's been treated in Spain, and all that kind of controversy, you knew it was going to go in. The guy, but the absolute capitulation from that point on to not respond. Real Madrid, Courtois gave away a goal, and Real Madrid fought back, forced that goal off Alisson, and then got the goal for 2-2. And Liverpool players never rose it to kind of dig out Alisson. For you, Markus, I know in the previous podcast you were concerned about Klopp and you felt like this might be the indications of the end of the cycle. Not necessarily saying that, well, maybe he should go, but things have got to change. Do you feel like this game, in this competition with so much heritage for Liverpool behind it, to lose in this manner, do you feel like now something needs to be done, whether it be the captain coming out and making a statement on behalf of the players, the manager maybe to reconsider what he wants to do going forward, but something has to change because your ownership have absolutely let you down this season. Like we've been there with the Kroenkes when they haven't done what needs to be done, and we've been frustrated. But I think looking at things on reflection, your owners have been grossly negligent, arrogant, and damn right lazy.
Yeah, look, I think our owners have won everything as well. So, I don't see why they would care. At the end of the day, they have no actual investment in the football club in a way in which they have to care. None of them are Liverpool fans. None of them have any investment in the city. None of them live there. None of them are watching the games every week. Why do they need to care? They've won everything. They did what they aimed to do at Liverpool, and now they know that they know that they did that because they managed to get a manager that was way above the level, and he took that team, on a, I say budget, but compared to the likes of the other teams around them that was winning the competitions, a budget, and won everything, and then they've left him and hung him out to dry. And they did so in January. There's this kind of frustrating attitude with Liverpool when they're on top that they don't feel the need to strengthen from a position of strength as well as they should. And that was kind of the feeling after the summer transfer window. And then, January obviously is a harder window to get what you want. And Gakpo is a good signing, but not what's needed. I've gone through everything on that. But in terms of last night, it was the worst result Liverpool have had in the Champions League in history. And, at the end of the day, I think there is a kind of, fear with Real Madrid when it comes down to Liverpool. And, even at 2-0, you just have to give it to Real Madrid. They are not scared of anything. Like, they just stay calm. They play their football. They pass the ball around. They let Liverpool come onto them, and they just try to keep their rhythm and their flow. And their players are experienced, and also you see that in Ancelotti. Like, there was no difference in Ancelotti's reactions on the touchline at 2-0 down than there was at 5-2 up. And whilst I obviously hated watching it, and pretty much every minute from 20 onwards was painful. Madrid have beat us 5 of the last 6 times they've played us. They beat us in 2 Champions League finals. They knocked us out in the quarterfinals a couple of years ago. Like we struggle against Real Madrid, and look, who doesn't? But at the end of the day, I think this club have had some seriously painful scars and trauma from Real Madrid, and I think that makes things difficult. And yeah, can Liverpool win 4-0 in the Bernabeu? Of course they can. Will they? Probably not. Like, I would expect goals from Madrid, and I think this tie is pretty much dead and buried. But, I also said the same thing when we were 3-0 down to Barcelona as well. So, I'll stick with the story. We got nothing to lose. We'll go and we'll play, and we'll see where we come out at the end of it. But yes, something has to change. We need 6 or 7 new players in the summer, or we need a new coach. I'm still supportive of Klopp because I think with the right squad and given a refresh, he's still the right, a world-class manager that can take this club, back and win a lot more. But if that refresh isn't going to happen with 5 or 6 players in the summer, then, maybe it's going to have to happen with the manager.
Yeah, and I think the sad thing is that you've... Because I don't know, have you replaced Julian Ward?
So we replaced... No, technically not. Like we had a director of football who was in, and then Julian Ward took over, but left pretty quick, or decided he was leaving pretty quickly. And then also the CEO stopped doing the day-to-day management stuff. So that triplet between Klopp, Ward, and the CEO, and it was Edwards before that, was kind of where we was at in the day-to-day runnings of the club. But I think. There are bigger issues at Liverpool, both on and off the pitch, and like you say, director of football that can kind of move things forward in the right direction. There was talk in the summer that a couple of the signings weren't signings that was unanimously agreed upon, including one Darwin Núñez. So yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens, but I think there's hope in the Premier League for a top 4 finish. Still, we're not as far off as I thought we was, all things considered, and we have a couple of games in hand. But we also have to get this Real Madrid game out of our head and not have it affect us, as we have a double game week coming up this week too, and also not be so badly damaged by them again in 3 weeks' time that it affects us in the 3 Premier League games that follow that as well.
Yeah, my concern is as a double game week, I need to put a Liverpool player in. So you don't need to fix up, because I can't be losing out on fantasy football points. Like, I need them points. So tell your boys to sort it out, because it's not acceptable. But speaking of players, going to switch it up a little bit now, because we've seen Vinicius Jr. run amok at Anfield, turned it into his playground. Sorry, Marcus, but it's the truth. And so it got, it kind of inspired this thought which Marcus had, which was like, who are the best under 23 players currently of this generation? So we'll all kind of put together our 11s. I'm going to start with mine, actually. I'm going to reel off my 11 players. I'll go over to Matthew next, then Craig, and I'll end with you, Marcus. So my 11, in goal, I've gone for Gianluigi Donnarumma. Left back, I've got Alphonso Davies. Centre backs, I've got Saliba and Gvardiol, the Croatian defender. Mm-hmm. At right back, I've got Reece James. Central mid, I've gone for Jude Bellingham, Pedri, and Jamal Musiala. And my front 3 is Vini Jr. on the left, Bukayo Saka on the right, and the Brock Lesnar of football, Erling Haaland through the middle.
It's him.
Matthew, who have you got as your under 23 squad?
So starting from Donnarumma was under 23.
Yeah.
Well,
he's been playing for a long time.
He's been playing for forever. I changed my choice. Well, I'm gonna go with my original choice anyway, and because I'm going with players that I know of well enough. So it's gonna be a controversial one, but I do think he's a good keeper. I'll go with Melier from Leeds. I think there is a good key. I think he's a good shot stopper. But I think he's a crap defensive for him and really lets him down. He's really let down by a bunch of jokers. Right back, I've gone with James. I've changed that. Right back is James. Left back, I'll go with Saka. Funny enough, I think he's better. You
don't play as a left back though.
He's best on it. He's good on the left though. He
doesn't play as a left back.
He can though.
He doesn't play there.
Okay, I'll go with my second choice.
He can.
I had to have him in the team. I had to have him in the team. I might put him somewhere else. So left back's going to be Alphonso Davies. Centre backs are going to be Fofana and what was the one I had? Oh, Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. In the middle, I have got... Wait, I got a piece of paper. Go get the paper out, man. Go get the list out. Go take it seriously now. I've got, in the midfield, I've got Declan Rice, I've got Bellingham, and I've got someone else there. I've got Caicedo, and at the front, I have got Vini J. I put Saka on the other side, obviously, and I too have got the Brock Lesnar of football as well. So that's my 11. That's my 11.
Hey,
Right.
very good.
Greg, who have you got in your 11?
This one's gonna surprise you. I got Costa, the goalkeeper who played for Portugal in the World Cup. He's under 23.
Okay.
I got Frimpong, who plays for Bayern Leverkusen, very good right back, up and coming right back.
I was thinking of him, Jeremy Frimpong. I wasn't quite sure.
Gardevo, centre back from Croatia. I got Saliba next to him, centre back. Left back, I got Mendes, who played for PSG. On the right wing, I got Saka, and in the middle, I got Bellingham and Pedri with Masala on the left. And then up top, I got Haaland and Mokoku, who plays for Bayern Dortmund. Yeah, the 17-year-old. I think he's got good potential.
Very good.
That's my 11. If I'm missing out anyone, then I got Rafael Leao. I got Rafael Leao as well, who plays for AC Milan.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Very good player.
Oh, you had 11 with Haaland.
All right, cool.
And then Marcus, who have you got as your 11?
Okay, my 11. Donnarumma in net. Reece James, reluctantly, at right back.
Leave it out.
De Ligt at centre back with Botman. Davis at left back.
Who's alongside De Ligt?
Bellingham in Botman. Sven Botman.
Botman. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Botman, yeah.
What about him?
Bellingham in central midfield with Pedri. Musiala in cam.
Yeah.
With Saka right, Vini left, Haaland through the middle.
Wow.
So a few repeats there, but
all of us technically got the same midfield.
Yeah.
Masala, Bellingham, and Pedri.
Front three. Yeah.
Front three.
You know what the fascinating thing about midfield is? Think about the players that didn't make the cut. Obviously, you had Declan Rice. He was an option for mine.
I
Gavi.
had Gavi in mind as well.
I had to pick one of the twins. It's either Pedri or Gavi. I just feel like Pedri's just got a bit more.
I think so.
Not a lot more, but I feel like he's just more all-rounded. But yeah. And then you're also missing out two of Real Madrid's French superstars, Tchouaméni and Camavinga. Rodrigo as well. Rodrigo.
Yeah, the winger, the right winger. Rodrigo.
Yeah.
He's Brazil is 21.
He's yeah.
Oh, Rodrigo Goyes.
Yeah. Not one.
I was thinking of the other Rodrigo. I was like, he ain't young.
I just realised I missed out Jeremy Doku.
Oh, Jeremy Doku as well.
He needs a big move this summer. Like, he needs a big move. Like.
Man.
He'll do well at Newcastle. Like him on one wing with what's that guy? Maximan. Them two together would be dangerous.
Electric.
This goes to show. I mean, Mbappe would have been my striker, but obviously he turned 24 this earlier in the year, which is just a bit unfortunate. Same with Hakimi, he just missed out. He's 24 as well. But it just, I mean, the future of football is in good hands. I mean, up front, the other option would have been Victor Osimhen, who's having this exceptional season at Napoli. And then on the right wing, you've got his teammate.
Casavalli?
Yeah.
How you say it?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know
who you mean, but I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, that guy, Gunman. Like, them two are ripping it up, man.
Also Ansu Fati at right mid.
Yeah.
The reason why no one didn't pick him because of his injuries. If he had less injuries, I think he'd be more higher up the rankings.
It's not only that. What did Xavi say to him the other day? Because they had a conversation. He said, "Oh, you might want to learn Arabic or Japanese." What the other languages? He said you might want to learn those languages for it. He's like, how am I going to get more Cape time next season? Learn Arabic. See how peak that is. It's basically telling him you're going to be going off and shipping you out. Like, learn one of those languages if you want more game time. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, injuries is a big factor, but it just feels like his development is just falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
And I think maybe giving him a number 10 was too little,
too much,
too soon. I mean, Mason Mount could have been in could have been
not
in
on this
contention,
form.
not on current form, and maybe a move to Liverpool might rejuvenate his career because there's been a little bit of paper talk that could be on the cards. Liverpool are looking at his situation.
He wants more money, he ain't getting it.
I feel like
he's also 24.
Oh, then Mason Mount, you're too old to be this inconsistent. You need to be doing better. Kai
Havertz was there.
Kai Havertz probably could have, but I don't think he's that good, to be honest.
Not starting. Just don't start him. Off the bench.
Kai Havertz is that good. João Felix, I saw him and I just dismissed him. I was just like, you're in the wrong colour, mate. You know. I'm not going to talk about the TikTok superstar who plays left wing for Chelsea. I'm not going to mention him.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and obviously Martinelli.
Also,
Martinelli.
Also, not to be harsh, but Declan Rice is also 24.
He's not.
Need a new centre midfielder. Sorry, Matthew.
Oh,
Rice and peas.
Rice and peas, man. He's right.
Garnacho could have been one for as well. Garnacho's a good player, up and coming player.
I think he's a good player, but he's not touching anyone in any of these other players.
In the next 2 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. Yeah,
what about Anthony?
Anthony who?
One person United.
Anthony Elanga.
What, the Beyblade?
No, the Brazilian one. The one that does the skirt and dart.
Okay, listen. The only Man United player that I would consider putting in this list, and I mean consider, is maybe Sancho.
Yeah.
Is he at the right age?
And that's after 3. Yeah, he's the right age. That's after 3 drinks on a night out. I might put Sancho in the contention. I don't think he's done enough now to be in that competition.
2 years ago, he'd be 100% in that starting 11.
He's walking, yeah.
He's on his way back. You know, he's not there yet. He's on his way back. You know, if we were to make the age gap a bit higher, we know Rashford would comfortably be in that squad. But he's not. He's not a child anymore. No. He's a man. So the standards we judge him by is different. Like Saka stepped his game up this season, but even he knows that the bar's now higher. So you know he's actually on the verge of getting double figures, goal and assists for the season, which puts him in like that. It puts him in legendary category of Premier League players. Puts him in the category of Michael Owen.
All I'm saying is that if he doesn't win PFA Young Player of the Year this season, it's going to be a robbery.
He could be in contention. I think Saka's in contention for both.
Yeah. I feel it between Saka and Rashford and Haaland for Player of the Year.
Odegaard. How dare you leave
and Odegaard as well.
Yeah.
Them 4, I would say. Them 4 because the season they're having, if Rashford continues scoring, he'll break. He's almost broken a record for how many goals Wayne Rooney scored in a season at that age. So he will definitely, if he continues this way, he'll break it. Yeah.
Do you know one player I'd put in contention who you've not mentioned?
Who?
Harry Kane.
What?
Has to be
Player of the Year.
He's having a great year.
He is having a great year.
But obviously, it's not quite worked out. But I guess to wrap it up, because I like that we're talking about player of the season of the season contenders. And there's one person I want to mention as a manager of the season candidate, and that's Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest. I think the job he's doing, considering the players they had to bring in the summer, the massive turnover from all the players they had last year who had to left because their loans ended or contracts ended or all this other kind of stuff, and then the dealings they did in January. I think, you know, the work he's done at Forest this year is tremendous. And I want to hand it over to you, Markus. It's like just the final point on this. Would you agree that Steve Cooper is in contention for manager of the season?
Yeah, look, I think there's just a couple of things on that I would say. I think if Arsenal win the league, Arteta wins manager of the year. And I also think there's a case for Eddie Howe, depending on where things end up at Newcastle. But, you know, obviously, you know, Forest was expected to get relegated in their 13th. So, you know, there's still a long way to go and a lot could happen between now and then. But yeah, I think, you know, obviously it's been a good start to the season for them, and you know he's doing a solid job, especially considering there was talks of him losing his job quite early on into the season too. There, the one other thing I wanted to give a shout out to with these teams was maybe my only differential player that none of you picked, which was Sven Botman, and I debated between Botman and Saliba for quite a while on who I was going to have in my team. And really what it came down to was Botman won the league with Lille in France and was the key defender in that Lille team, along with Jose Fonte, and winning the league before moving to Newcastle. And then has moved to Newcastle and Newcastle have the best Premier League defence by a mile. They've got like 8 or 9 goals
Crazy.
before you find a team that has a better defense than Newcastle. And
That's mad.
Sven Botman is the key in the center of that defense. And I genuinely think, in terms of his characteristics, his qualities, his abilities, he's got the potential to be one of the best defenders in world football. And I think he's underrated, maybe because he's at Newcastle and didn't make a move right to the top level. But I think he's doing everything in his career very, very smartly. Still only 22, still only developing. But I think is a really, really good shout. And I would have gone Botman and Saliba, if it wasn't for De Ligt, who has already done so much in his career up until 23. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Botman there as well, because I think in this kind of dynamic, he's someone who deserves a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, I didn't really think much of his age, but now that you say it, yeah, he's just been such a great surprise package for Newcastle, and he's adapted to the league quite well. And I think both him and Saliba have helped elevate the game of their partners, because I think Gabriel's having a great season, but the good work that Gabriel is doing is overshadowed by how calm Saliba is next to him, so he can be that rock and that kind of crash and thunder, and Saliba can just be the smooth, silky engine, and you want that as a partnership. And I think that's a good place for us to end. Obviously, Man United are having a good run of form. Chelsea are in the toilet. In fact, Real Madrid have scored more goals in England than Chelsea have scored in this calendar year.
23.
Oh dear.
Conceded 23.
Literally, the 5 goals Madrid scored yesterday is the same amount that Chelsea have scored in 2023 so far. Shocking.
Do you want me to hammer it home a little bit more? So I found this out. We've won 2 in 15. We've won one game this calendar year in 2023. And I think our last game win was Palace. Before that, it was like Bournemouth or something like that. And I genuinely cannot remember the last time we scored more than 1 goal in a single game.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to find out when that turns around soon enough, because it can't keep going on like this. Either Potter will figure it out or he'll get fired.
Someone else will.
We will be here either way. Thanks for listening, everyone. Do you think Potter will turn it around? Do you think Chelsea will be relegation candidates as the year drags on? Who knows? Who knows? But one thing we can say for sure, the top 4 is definitely not going to Stamford Bridge this season. That's us signing out, and we'll see you all next time.
Peace. Safe.